What does life insurance have to do with estate planning? This is estate planning lawyer Michael Pevney, and I create estate plans for California families. Now, an estate plan is typically a set of documents that we create that helps us decide what we want to happen to ourselves, our properties, our bodies, both while we're alive and then after we pass away. And typically an estate plan that I create for families that I help out often includes the main document, which is the central document, a trust, a revocable living trust. We also have a will, we have an Advance Healthcare Directive, a healthcare power of attorney, a financial power of attorney, final wishes and burial instructions, and then, of course, we nominate a guardian. We want to make sure that somebody's around to take care of small children that are under the age of 18 when we pass away. But sometimes, depending on people's age and people's financial situation, life insurance can be an important part of estate planning. Now, at its most basic level, life insurance is supposed to take care of the people that we leave behind. Maybe replace our income or replace assets that we no longer have because we've passed away. Oftentimes it's there for income replacement. So maybe enough money to pay off the house, maybe enough money to send the kids off to college, maybe enough money to make sure that our spouse is covered and able to live the life that they're accustomed to living before they collect Social Security, before they collect retirement, or maybe even for the rest of their life. The most basic type of life insurance that many people have is term life insurance. It's the least expensive, provides the largest death benefit for the price, and very price dependent based on your age and your health condition. But people who are in their prime earning years, in their 30s or 40s or 50s, can usually pick up a policy at a relatively reasonable price because they're not that likely to pass away during the term. There are very smart people, way smarter than I, called actuaries, who figure out these things, how likely you are to pass away and everything, and that's kind of how the prices are set. But this can be an important part of estate planning, especially if you don't have enough assets to last you and your family, if you're gone, to cover your family for the rest of their lives. So what often happens is we set up a trust, a revocable living trust, and that sets out what we want to happen to our stuff when we pass away. And for people, especially people that have young children that are either minors or young adults, we want to make sure that once we're gone, their basic expenses are covered. Maybe we want to make sure that the house can be paid off, but we don't have all of that money with us right now. So what we sometimes do is we can make the beneficiary of a life insurance policy a trust itself. Sometimes we want to make it our spouse directly. What we almost always want to avoid is to make the beneficiary of the life insurance our estate, because that means if our estate is the beneficiary of a life insurance policy, that's going to have to go through probate, which takes a long time. That money's going to be locked up for a year and a half or 2 years. For a $1 million life insurance policy, it's going to cost almost $50,000 just to get it distributed to the people that the state says is ultimately going to get it. Oftentimes that's ultimately going to be spouse, kids, but depending on if parents are alive or in our situation, bad idea to have our estate be the beneficiary of a life insurance policy. So usually we want either a spouse, and you can always set alternate beneficiaries. So maybe we want our spouse as a primary beneficiary and the trust as a secondary beneficiary. And here's why a trust can oftentimes be a good beneficiary, especially people with younger children. We want the money to go to their benefit. We want them to benefit from that money, but we want to put some guardrails around it. We want to set some guidelines for how this money is supposed to be spent. We don't necessarily want them getting access to $500,000 or $1 million as soon as they turn 18 or whatever age they are when they inherit this money. Maybe we want that money only used for things like their health, their education, their welfare, their maintenance, their support up until a certain age, or maybe up until they get a degree or they turn 25 or 30 or 40 or even 50, maybe, just maybe, we want to keep that money inside of the trust, paying for their basic needs for their entire lives, or slowly doling out money to them for their entire lives and protecting that money from things like lawsuits, bankruptcies, divorce, and even substance abuse problems. What's great about a trust is you have so much control over how this money is distributed. And using the combination of life insurance and having a trust be the beneficiary of that life insurance can be very advantageous, very cost effective, certainly for families that aren't yet retired, still in their working years, might have younger kids. Now, there are a lot of other uses and a lot of other things that life insurance can do. Certainly for people that want to use it sometimes as a safe investment, sometimes help them out as a business to protect business interests and things like that. I'm really talking about that basic term life insurance as part of a complete estate plan. Now, if you have any questions about this or anything else relating to estate planning, go ahead and leave a comment or like this video if you're watching this on video, and leave a comment. And if you want to set up a free estate planning strategy session where you can speak to me for free about your estate plan and you live in California, you can do that by going to ocestateplanlawyer.com. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention.